She became, and she being Charley Parkhurst, she became an extraordinary driver for Wells Fargo. She was famous for it. She had to fight outlaws. She lived her life as a man in the Wild West. It's a great story. I couldn't put it down. It's called The Whip. It is now an audio tape, and all of it is brought to us by Kondazian. Karen, hi. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Oh, now people, tell me who Charley Parkhurst was, just basically.
She was a woman who lived in an orphanage. Because of the destruction of her family, she put on men's clothes, went around from Boston to California during the gold rush, became a famous Wells Fargo stagecoach driver, and was looking for the killer 30 years later. I won't ruin it.
Killer of her family. The killer of her family.
Yes.
And this really happened, folks. This is not made up.
She was the first woman to vote in America as a man for General Grant, and she killed the famous outlaw Sugarfoot, who robbed a stagecoach one too many times. She was an amazing person, and she was 30 years she was a stagecoach driver. So finally, when she died in 1879, they got her ready for her funeral. And they went, oh my God, the famous Charley Parkhurst is a woman. and all the doctors from San Francisco came to check her out, and they couldn't believe that she had also had a child. So what I did is I took all the facts about her, and then I novelized like some story, a bit of a story around it.
That's why it's such a fun read. It's just so great to read and now listen to.
Yeah, Robin Weikirk, who was the star of all you Deadwood fans out there.
Yes.
She played Calamity Jane, and she does the reading of it, and she's brilliant.
So it's now a audio book, and The Whip is also of course, regular book.
Right.
And now she's buried in the Bay Area, Charley Parkhurst,
She's
right?
buried in Watsonville, California, in the Oddfellows Cemetery, because that was a big charity group of men, and only men could be a part of it. And they asked her, and she became a member, and she helped, you know, poor widows and children and whatever. Yeah. And then when she died and they found out she was a woman, nonetheless, they buried her in that cemetery.
So Oddfellows takes a whole new meaning on.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Now, women at the time were dressing like men anyway.
You know, people don't realize that. There were almost, I think they said almost 400 women who actually fought in the Civil War as men, wearing men's clothes. You know, in those days, you didn't have to have a medical exam. And, you know, and then some of them went home and had children.
So that was happening all over the world. In fact, we're going to take a look at some Wahl's winners right now. These are some movies that have to do with cross-dressing. And one of them really explains why it was safer to cross-dress. And that would be this first one here, Albert Nobbs. Albert Nobbs, a wonderful film. Please check it out, folks. And that really explains why it was safer, especially at the end of the 1800s, for women to dress as men. Tootsie, Yentl, Sylvia Scarlett is the first time Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant worked together, and she plays a man in it, dressed as a man. M. Butterfly, of course, it's quite a film. And then what else is there? There's so many of this genre. One of my favorite movies ever made, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Trans-America, which is a beautiful, beautifully acted movie, just great. Boys Don't Cry, and The Crying Game. Just a few. If I didn't get to your favorites, I know Marty loves Some Like It Hot, and has often tried to recreate it. But anyway, Some Like It Hot is a good one also, but there's so many others. So anyway, those are just a few, but people should really pick this book, this audio book up, because it really comes to life, the whole story of The Whip. And how could people get it?
Well, it's on audible.com. You can get it, or, you know, through Barnes & Noble, but mostly audible.com.
Well, thank you, Karen Kondazian. It is called The Whip, and this is one new movie I want to tell you about real quick, winner of the jury prize at the Cannes Film